Alright. Well, as long as I'm here anyway, might as well do Merchants and Marauders. I'd actually heard about this a while ago from Board Game Geek. I believe one of the fans of the designer, Sajid, he actually comes into the chat quite often and was talking up this game a lot. Really, look, you don't even have to watch this review. If you like pirates, if you like a pirate theme, this is the game for you. There's really, it's by far and away the best pirate game that has happened, that has come around. For example, these are the player boards. Everything's beautiful, really well done. I could almost read the reference sheet and play the game. And the map. Okay, the map is gorgeous. And I always get confused when I always rip something and splitting it up, but shh. Map of the game. It's a lovely board of the Pacific. Not the Pacific, the Caribbean. Now, what you have on the board is sea zones, which all correspond. For example, almost all the sea zones correspond to a port, except for the Caribbean Sea, which has no ports. The whole game consists of 3 actions. Every turn you have 3 actions you can take, and of those 3 actions, there's 3 things you can do. Moving from one sea zone to another is an action. Scouting in a sea zone for either a merchant ship or any ships that might be sharing that sea zone with you are an action. Moving into port is an action. And then there are a multitude of actions you can take in port, including you can buy goods, you can sell goods, you can recruit new crew members if you need be, you repair your ship, buy a new ship, buy special weapons for your ship, or ship modifications. Now, I'm not going to go through everything and dig up and show you how everything looks, but on each port there's 2 boxes. One corresponds to a good that will be in demand, and one corresponds to the ship modifications, which stay hidden until somebody is in that port. Now, goods in demand is quite simple. If you go to a city, and let's just say bananas, which is food, is in demand, you can't buy that good from that city. So, but in buying, you go and you pull, depending on the city that you're in, you pull 3 goods cards, 6 goods cards, 6. This is gonna be, you guys are gonna love this. You pull 6 goods cards, and then if you buy one of those cards, it costs 3 gold. If you buy 2 of them, they cost 2 each. And then if you buy 3 or more of the same kind, it's 1 for each you buy. And then what you're trying to do is that you're trying to sell it at a place that's in demand. For example, like I said, if you pull in here with 3 fruit, not only do you get 18 gold because it's 6 for each one, you get glory, which is how you win the game, is by getting to 10 glory. A glory card which you would pull. So even if you don't have 3, you still sell 2 of them. You've bought all 3 of them, hopefully for 3 gold, and you sell them for 12. So you end up with a profit of 9 on that. You end up with a profit of 15 if you buy, and so on. You can do the math. Now, it's not just that easy of just going around, because not only do you have the other players who can be pirates and attack defenseless merchant ships, but you have NPC players who go on the board. Now, the thing I love about these NPCs is that they're not just although there's 2 pirates, which is a sloop, a smaller ship, and a frigate, a bigger ship, that will always be hunting for defenseless merchants. So if they share a zone, or if the merchant tries to pass through a zone of a pirate ship, the pirate will try to look for them and will attack them. And then action takes place. These spots, let me see. See these spots for cards, whenever you have a combat between an NPC and a player, these cards will always hold the spot for that captain of that ship. And then you have this for how his ship is. So pirates will go after merchants, but they will ignore other pirates. To be a pirate in the game, you have to get a bounty on your head, which You get bounties by attacking merchant ships and being victorious, or by attacking other players whose nation, and you get being victorious. You get bounties from whatever nation they represent. The nations in the game are Spain, England, France, and the Dutch. Also, when you go to port, another action obviously is a crew, the ship modifications, which will improve your ship. You can also do rumors and missions, which they are slightly different, but for the most part, the big difference is that there will always be 2 mission cards on the map, which all identify, the mission cards all say what city they're on. So, for example, the mission card might be in San Juan. So you land in San Juan, you see if you can take the mission card, which will always have different requirements of you, and then you try to complete the mission. Rumors you can get from any city. You pull into Santo Domingo, you say, I'm going to try to get a rumor card, you pay 2 gold, you roll your dice, which I love the dice in this game, by the way. The dice are a 6-sided dice, which have a 1 through 4 and 2 skull and crossbones for the 5 in place of the 5 or 6. So depending on what stats you roll, which are determined by, when you're not in battle, your stats are determined by your captain cards. Now you can have all sorts of different captains, and it's, for example, if you look at this one, from the wheel is seamanship. The eyeglass, the telescope in the eyeglass, whatever you want to call it, is scouting. The sword is leadership. And then treasure chest is influence. Now, these all come up in different ways, but it's always the same way. The way you have success is you roll up, let's just say you need to roll on she needs to roll on her seamanship. You roll 3 dice, and you have a success if you roll one of those dice as a skull and crossbones. The game is easy to learn. I've had my roommate beg me. My roommate isn't a big games fan. She's requested this like 2 or 3 times in a row now. She kicked my ass last game. The bits are not only. I mean, the bits are great. I mean, the map's great. I love the game board. The cards are great. They're all that small little, but the bits are incredible. You get to build a treasure chest. Let me show you the dice. Regular dice, except for the skull and crossbones. Regular 6-sided. Doubloons! Come on, who doesn't love doubloons in a game? And the kicker of the all, the ships. Come on, I mean, who doesn't love the ships? Look, if you love pushing plastic around the board, that's another reason to get this game. This is the Pirate Frigate. This could be Blackbeard. Let me just show you real quick, since I went through the trouble getting that out. These are either goods that are in demand, or the modifications for your ship. Modification, special weapons for your ship, which they all have their spaces on. See, and they all have spaces on the board. So once you buy a special modification, you add it to the board, or once you if you buy a special weapon, you add it to the board. Board tells you exactly what it does, so you don't have to keep referencing back and forth. The board will, the spot for your captain, the specialist, which is again like it's a modification kind of thing, where usually through rumors you can get a specialist who will give special abilities to your ship. The one thing, now there's generic merchants too who are in the seas. So for example, if you're trying to capture, if you scout, let's just say you scout Old Providence, which is an English city, you get to decide who you're going to attack if your scouting is successful. So you can either attack the merchant token, which you flip over, and it'll say it'll have an image of one of the 4 nations, or you can attack the port nation of whose sea zone you're in. Except if you're in the Caribbean, which has no port tied to it. You then pull out 3 of the cargo cards, and all the cargo cards not only have the cargo on them. For example, this is a textile card. Not only has the cargo, that 5 is to plunder from the card. And if you see that explosion, it's and the word cannon, it means it hits a cannon. They'll have different areas of your ship that can get damaged from trying to take on a merchant. The merchants can also escape depending on your maneuverability, but for the most part they don't get away. Then you get to choose which of the 3 cards to keep as cargo. You always get the gold, and if you get 12 or more gold from attacking a merchant ship, you get glory. So it's another way to go forward. When it's player-on-player combat or NPC versus player combat, it's a little bit tougher. I'll admit that. It's a tad confusing. You have a choice of 3 options of you can flee, you can try to board, you can shoot, you can try to board, or you can flee. And then depending on your seamanship and on your rolls is how they are successful. But look, this is the be-all, end-all to pirate games. Without me even playing another pirate game, it's simple to teach, simple to learn. Just keep the book on hand for when you do NPC or player versus player combat. But the merchants are easy to take. And I've heard a lot of people. The one complaint I've heard people saying is that it's too easy to be a merchant. Since when you get glory for when you get glory for selling goods in demand if you sell 3 or more of them. Then you also, for every 10 gold, you can get up to 5 glory. So if you stash, which is what the treasure chest is for, in your home city you can stash gold. If you can stash up to 50 gold for 5 glory. So really you would have to hit the port. You would have to sell 5 goods in demand that are, 3 or more, and then just stash the gold from that, and you run. Now, yeah, it is a little bit of a problem because it's a pirate game, and you go in the port and you say, "Why is all the rum gone?" Look, attack the other players. Don't play nice. It's the only thing is that people must just be playing this game, looking at the board, and trying to get the fastest to get from point A to point B. And sometimes you're going to have to kick your friend's ass. If it's a 1-player, a 2-player, 3... I'm sorry, you're going to have to kick your friend's ass and say, "Hey, your captain's dead, you start all over, you're screwed," pretty much. Oh, you can also die in the game, but you lose everything you have on you depending on who's attacking you. Another player can get to keep all your cards, otherwise it just sinks to the bottom, and you lose everything but what's stashed, which if you have any gold stashed, you take a 10 gold out of that. And you get to start with 10 gold, otherwise, if you don't even have anything stashed, and you get to start with the basic ship. I've lost a ship twice. Well, I've lost a ship a lot because I love attacking man-o'-wars or sloops. But it's not a be-all, end-all. I've almost won games after losing the ship, so... Z-Man games, really insanely good lately. Merchant and Marauders, I cannot recommend enough. Go give it a try, find it, play it. And feel free to yell at me if I'm saying something totally wrong, but I really cannot recommend this game enough. Alright.